fight for. Either way though, Loki made it so they weren't going out and pruning timelines, and he was holding together everything that he could, even these failed universes. This also could explain why he's changing things and altering the Thor the Dark World from the CinemaCon footage. Either way, the totalitarian outlook they once had, that's no more. They're knocking at the door instead of barging in, and also not putting the collar and jumpsuit on like we saw with Loki. He's not having to go through the trials and security that he did, and it seems like a much nicer organization. There's just the general design of the place as well, which makes it seem more welcoming, though I do feel like there is a sinister undertone. Now, in our initial breakdown, I thought it might be based off the She-Hulk issue in which she's put on trial for saving Hawkeye's life. In that, She-Hulk was tried by the TVA, and I thought it might play out how Deadpool saved Vanessa. However, Paradox is in fact here to recruit him, and it was that comic that also introduced him. Paradox is not to be confused with Dox, and in the comics he is a clone of Morbius. And that takes me into theory time, go back in time to kill Hitler as a baby. Now, I think that Dox might actually be trying to create an uprising in the TVA that turns it back to its old ways. MT did a breakdown on the channel talking about how he was the secret villain, and I think that makes the most sense. Loki is beyond time and space now, outside of the multiverse, and perhaps that's why Paradox has recruited him. Deadpool can see the fourth wall and break it, which could explain exactly what it is he wants for him. Potentially, due to all the continuity errors in the original X-Men movies, the universe itself is starting to fall apart. This is why we see the 20th Century Fox logo down in the void, as this is a place where that entire universe has been sent to. That has the X clearly visible, and this is a motif the X-Men movies used to do a lot, where they focus on that heavily in the intro. Perhaps Paradox needs him for more than he's letting on, as it kinda seems like it's too good to be true. I think that at the birthday party when Wade made the wish, he really wanted to be Deadpool again and doing something important with his life. This is why the TVA knock happened at that exact moment. They needed to wait until he was at his lowest point and desperately wishing to get out of his life. They then take him in and promise he could be the Messiah, which is pretty much the opposite end self-esteem wise of how it is he was feeling.
Wade, you are special.
Paradox tells him he's special, which could be weaponizing the wish that he made at his birthday. Whether that's the case or not, we know that Deadpool turns on the TVA at one point, and in the trailer he's been seen fighting against them. He also gets sent to the Void too, which shows that he's been pruned at some point. I believe this might happen during the fighting shot, in which we see him battling the TVA in the forest. He throws 3 daggers at them, which many have theorized might actually be Wolverine's claws. People have said this could be the forest where Logan dies, and that this might also be where Daphne Keane cameos. However, there are also reports by Nexus Point News that Natalie Atenia will be playing an older version of her. That would be a pretty great cameo, and definitely something I'd like to see in the movie. Either way, we did see a Secret Wars comic at the end of the first trailer, and what if the Secret War was really going on at the TVA? Not only do you have Kang trying to control the multiverse, but you also have other entities like Paradox. His TVA might be a separate one completely, and this could explain why it looks different. This might be him recruiting powerful characters for his war, and Doctor Doom could also be out there too, which could also lead into Secret Wars. We have to get to a point where Kang Dynasty can happen, as it is still a movie that's apparently on Marvel's slate. They have Michael Waldron currently writing it, and there's something bad's gotta happen to the TVA. So personally, I think that's the way they're gonna take things, with the TVA being disabled in this movie. One of the many people after the multiverse could then rise up and then set the stage for the coming of Secret Wars. Either way, that's in a theory time. At this point, we get the pair walking through the streets and Wolverine is sleeveless. So nice actually getting this look, because I know when the first costume dropped, a lot of people were confused. However, I'm loving the sleeveless look, that's more in line with the comics, and yeah, it's nice that they're finally embracing this. Now, speaking of embracing things, one of the signs also says Liefeld, and right beside it, sorry guys, it says just feet. Now, in case you don't know, Rob Liefeld is the guy who created Deadpool, and he's often been criticized for not being able to draw feet. So having just feet, yeah, it's a nice little touch, and it killed me seeing this pop up in the trailer. In the background, we also have Copperheads, which could be a nod to the Serpent Society. They're villains who were rumored to be in Captain America 4, and it'll be interesting to see if they bring them into this. Now, at this point, we get Cassandra Nova, who's coming out of an Ant-Man head. Or a giant man head, I should say for that. Huge shoutouts to MT for pointing out that since Cassandra Nova's the dark opposite of Xavier, her being inside a giant Ant-Man skull is sort of her version of Cerebro. Like a dead Cerebro, she's in Scott Cerebellum, and there's also a little nod to Ant-Man earlier in the teaser. Deadpool calls Wolverine Peanut, which is also a cute, affectionate thing that Scotland calls his daughter. Hoping that Ant-Man cameos in this as well, and we can see his skull beneath the mask. Now, Cassandra Nova will be played by Emma Corrin, and she's going to be the big bad of the movie. If it's not also secretly Paradox, eh? Now, in case you don't know, she's actually Professor X's evil twin, who was first introduced during Grant Morrison's new X-Men run. Born without a body, she used Charles's DNA and acted like a parasite to help make her own. Eventually, she got to the point where she was powerful enough to attack Charles, but he blasted her psychically, which then seemingly killed her. Their mother then ended up having a miscarriage, but Cassandra's consciousness remained. Disposed of, she lay low in the sewers and rebuilt herself from all the things dumped in there. After decades, she became a fully formed human and then went on a path to get revenge on Charles. She's someone who believes that the world isn't real and that she and Charles have created the universe in their minds. I can't wait to see what they do with her in the movie, as she's such an amazing character to have pop up in the film. In the comics, she attacked Genosha with a wild sentinel, which is also something we've seen happen in X-Men 97. We have lots of different theories about who could be behind that, but hey, maybe they're just having Cassandra show up in them both. I feel like that series is gonna have someone different, but having her set up to appear here too, I think would be pretty cool. Now, amongst these little shots, we also see Dogpool and Alioth, who's returning from the void. That makes me wonder if Renslayer is coming back, and when we last seen her, she seemed to be face to face with the beast, but we cut things before they went any further. I did theorize at the time the pyramids we saw could belong to Ramatut, and that she may have been found out there in the wasteland. However, I wonder if she potentially tamed the beast and is now part of this attack. I feel like the convoy we see could be trying to capture Alioth and then using this as a weapon to help control the void. We see this convoy are using scraps from alternate timelines and saw them moving around. Amongst the rides were the Red Skull's car, the Moon Knight truck, and the Fantastic Four car. They also have what I think are sonic weapons and have metal circular cages which could be filled with someone to lure the beasts in. It's just a theory, and it's something I've been thinking about, but I think they could be led by Nova or possibly led by Pyro. I kind of feel like he's going to be working for Nova himself, but either way, your boy is back, and we know from the teasers he's wearing his ultimate suit from the comics. Other callbacks are the Golden Gate Bridge, which appeared in X-Men The Last Stand. There's also been Hulk's bed from Thor Ragnarok, and I'd love to see Wolverine finally fighting the Hulk. That would be such a big thing to have kickstart his MCU appearance, as Wolverine's debut appearance was battling against the Hulk. Other cameos we know are Tyler Mane as Sabretooth, and Toad will be popping up as well. On top of this, we have rumours that Jennifer Garner will be returning as Elektra, and she crumbled a bit under questioning in an interview with Collider. Went over that in the first breakdown, so don't just want to repeat it, but yeah, head over to that if you want to see the clip. Either way, it's pretty clear she's probably in the movie, and I'd love to see stuff like the Fox Fantastic Four, and so on and so forth. Alongside this, we have some other X-Men characters, including Azazel and also Lady Deathstrike. Now, Swifties should assemble, because if you pieces of shit have been listening to the new Taylor Swift album, then you'll know that she ends the entire thing with the word dazzling. Had it on at the weekend to double check, and what a bloody banger. Couple of months though, we reported on the singer playing Dazzler in Deadpool, and this was backed up by a couple of things. What do you mean you've hit dislike for that comment? Either way, Reynolds and Taylor are good friends in real life, with his daughter providing vocals on her song Gorgeous. He also wore a t-shirt in the second movie with her cats on it, and they hang out all the time at the NFL, I think. Not sports spoilers, mate. If it is I know it is the NFL, yeah, but don't ask me what happened, because I was breaking down the first trailer when the Super Bowl was on, and I didn't get to see any of it. Either way, ending it with Dazzling had fans speculating she'd play her in the movie, and yeah, that would be a cool little Easter egg that would lead into this. Now, if you like cat t-shirts, then you might also like other t-shirts, so definitely check out our merch store right below the video. We've got It's All Connected ones that reference your favorite boy tying everything together, a massive moment from X-Men 97 that we've just dropped, Theory Time shirts, and yeah, lots of different t-shirts that you should definitely go check out. It all goes towards helping videos like this get made, and huge thank you to everyone who's picked one up. Now, upon escaping the head, we also see a Doctor Strange portal, hinting to me that he might pop up in the movie. However, I think more likely it's going to be Wong, as he's a character who pretty much pops up in everything. It's Wong's shared universe now. Now, Vanessa's return could usher in her role as Copycat, as she's who the character eventually ends up becoming. They initially wanted to go that route for the first movie, but unfortunately the story, they didn't have enough there to really pad it out. Now, in case you don't know, Copycat's a shapeshifter who's similar to Mystique's able to change her appearance. There was a line in the trailer for the first film that originally had her saying she's played a number of different roles. However, this was removed for the final cut, with them then wanting to do it in the second film. That was when Tim Miller was attached to it, but due to creative differences, he ended up leaving. We then got the time travel plot, and thus they didn't have time to really do anything with Copycat. Marina Baccarin did say she felt she might have been a victim of fridging, but the ending did change things, so she was saved by the end. Would love to see Copycat finally get to shine though, and yeah, that's a big direction to take the character to. That's some of my thoughts on the movie. Really excited, as I'm sure you can tell, and I can't wait to see it when it releases in July. After X-Men 97, I'm confident Marvel's able to handle the X-Men at the level they should, and I can't wait to see what's their first film coming together under the Marvel Studios banner. This trailer looks like it's going to be something special, and a celebration of the Fox franchise that we never really properly got to say goodbye to. I can remember going to see X-Men in the cinema at 11, and I was blown away by just how good it was. It's often overlooked as a trendsetter, and though there were other comic book movies before it, I think this was a massive milestone in how things came to develop.